Watching standpoint. Now, in the course of the week, we had several developments. One of them was the ministerial screening and confirmation after the ministers were all screened. 45 of them out of 48 were confirmed. 3 of them, were not confirmed and due to security clearance. The former governor of Kaduna State, El-Rufai, was one of those. We also know that Daladi from Taraba State and Stella Okotute from Delta State were also part of those who were not confirmed. And, they have said that that's because of some petition and backlog of issues that they have to clear. But that is raising a lot of conversation in the country. People are wondering, look, especially for Governor El-Rufai, he's been a governor, he's been a minister, he's been the head of the BPE. What is going on? Let's have this conversation. Let's bring in Andrew Emata, a constitutional lawyer and the immediate past commissioner for communication and orientation in Edo State. He joins us from Abuja studio. Good to have you join us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Good afternoon to our viewers. It's a pleasure to be here today.
All right, so what's your thoughts on the developments around the ministerial screening, especially for the 3 nominees, that have not been confirmed yet?
I think it's a good development for our democracy because this is the very first time we'll find a situation where the Senate will turn back, names that, of course, these are names that ring bell, like the former governor of Kaduna State. Just as you have noted, there were certain concerns flowing from petitions that were written by Nigerians. And I think I must salute the president for allowing the Senate to do their job. And I think because they said until these issues are resolved, these names will not be confirmed. And I think it's a good development for democracy, and it shows that there's some level of due process. And it gives the entire process a very good, posturing, and it gives that sense of, for the first time, we have a National Assembly that is not a rubber stamp.
But does it give it a good posturing? Because some have said, look, why not have, it is expected that you have the security clearance before anybody even comes for screening in the first place. So why should people go through screening if they have not been cleared, in terms of security clearance, background checks and all?
I think the whole idea of ministerial screening is a constitutional issue. Tied to that is what we don't see. We talk of DSS clearance, we talk of ICPC clearance. Those are the prerogatives of the executive. So what they usually do is that for every nominee, they attach whatever reports because the DSS does not have their own power different from that of the appointing authority, which is the president. So that to avoid any sense of, the Senate did not give me the opportunity of appearing before them, you push these things to the National Assembly that has a mandate, that is the Nigerian Senate in this case. And it is for them to decide if, in spite of a security report, in spite of a petition, if they allow the confirmation of a nominee. And I think for the first time, we are seeing a process that has brought up this issue of, do we follow due process whenever we talk of ministerial screening and confirmation? And I think it's a positive development, if you ask me.
I understand we have joining us on Zoom, Alhaji Sani Dododo, who is a public affairs analyst. Thank you so much for joining us. Alhaji, I just want to ask you to talk to us about your own thoughts on this development as well, as the presidency is now waiting for the confirmation of 3 out of its 48 nominees.
Well, I think if you look at the issue holistically, it's more or less an APC government affairs. Now, if you look at the character of, or the political character of APC, compared with the political character of APC in the last government, it is almost on the same page, because the ministers that was submitted to the National Assembly after maybe screening by the security agencies, be it ICPC and TSS. Now, the Senate continue with the screening, but though the issue is the capable or the personation of those who are screened as ministers. out of 48 ministers that are screened, at least 46 or 46, 45, 46, they have one case or the other of corruption and petition written by their respective state where they come from. So it is maybe from bad to worse to me, what I've seen. That is some of the nominees and the ministers. The other ministers who serve during Buhari, there are a lot of them who are better than the one that are now submitted by Bola Tinubu. So I think it is also like an old wine is now put in the new bottles. So we are waiting to see what is going to come off maybe in the next 1 to 2 weeks. Yes.
So some people have said, look, for someone like, because if you are a senator, if you've been in the National Assembly at all, that you take a bow and then you are asked to leave. That for someone like Nasiru El-Rufai, who has been 2-time governor, he has been a director in one of the agencies, that's the BPE. He has been the minister of the FCT. That one would have thought that, look, this would have been easy for him because he has been screened in that context before. So did this come to you as a surprise?
Well, I think El-Rufai was even better than all those who were been there. To my own rating, he is better in the sense of his performance in State Kaduna. But like I told you earlier, is political character or APC. Both El-Rufai and those who are submitted there are all APC members mostly. So I think if I were El-Rufai, by my pronouncement, which I did earlier, like he did say that he is not interested, or he was not interested to be a minister. So I will not even avail myself for the screening and documentation. What I would do if I were El-Rufai, I will go to the Senate, even if I am to go there, in order to honor their invitation. I will go there and present myself. Now I will tell them that I thank Mr. President Tinubu and the you people who invited me to come for screening. But I would like to maintain my status quo that I have no interest in being a minister. And I thank you so much. Then pack his papers and walk away. But he allowed himself to be ridiculed, so many questions. And then after that, another cabal that is now set up in the presidency blocked him to an investigation. That's why he's not coming back and say he want to maintain his earlier statement by even presenting another person instead of himself. If I were him, I will not present to anybody. I will not accept the ministership position, and I will send the Senate and the Mr. President Zamba and go out. But I will not allow myself to be ridiculed to the extent of going there for documentation and the screening. So to me, El-Rufai is one of the best people we have in the northern part of the country, but he has his own shortcomings as a human being. And if you look at the APC factor, well, I think he is a better person than the other people that is there in the list of the nominee. So I think there's so many interrogations there, so many questions, to El-Rufai, and then finally his eventual disengaging that he is no more interested in bringing somebody. To me, is a slap on his face.
All right, let me put you on hold and bring in Mr. Evata into this conversation. Mr. Evata, when you've listened to Dodo, he has said, look, if he were the one, if he were to be El-Rufai, he would have, just ignored altogether this nomination. Do you agree with that? And what's your thought on the fate of these nominations?
Yeah, thank you. Though I didn't hear him very clearly, but I don't think the National Assembly have closed shop on the confirmation of these individuals, because what they said is that they will get further thoughts or further opinion from the security agencies, and essentially referring it back to Mr. President as the Commander-in-Chief for him to come to a final decision on that. And I don't know if the report is confirmed. It appears that the former governor of Kaduna has sort of conceded by saying that he would prefer to get an alternate nominee. And I think these issues will be resolved moving forward. But in all of it, it shows one thing, that we have a National Assembly that is up to its task, though we expected them to have done better in some instances where we had people that could not answer questions properly. And I don't think that culture of telling former National Assembly members to take a bow, I think it's something we should jettison so that it will be seen as an equitable platform whereby you don't treat somebody who, as a former National Assembly member, either Senate or House of Reps, differently from others. I think it's a bit discriminatory because having gone through the National Assembly, one expects a high level of competence. And how do you test that competence if you don't allow them to go through that crucible of screening? But if you ask me, I think, well and good. Even the former Minister for Labour, Keyamu, was drilled. Under Section 67, Sub 2 of the Constitution, he was invited by the National Assembly in the past, and he didn't honor that invitation. And it was on the strength of that he was grilled. He was almost dropped until he now tendered an unreserved apology. And I think that is what it should be, so that your past misdeeds, you don't think you easily get away from it when you appear before the National Assembly for screening. But I think overall, the screening process, it's commendable, and we expect the president to quickly inaugurate his cabinet because Nigerians are in a hurry to see the portfolios that will be assigned so that these people can hit the ground running. The governor promised Nigeria a renewed hope. So Nigerians are hoping that we now see a performance of that.
I want to quickly switch to a different conversation because now that we have you, I want to explore this with you in a few minutes that we have left. So there is crisis, as we understand, or allegedly in the Edo State government. We understand that as we speak, the governor and the deputy governor are not on talking terms. And that's surprising for a lot of people. We've seen governors and deputies fall out before, but Governor Basaki and the deputy governor, Shaibu, were seen as really close because, as it were, they have fought a lot of battles together. What exactly is happening?
Yeah, I think it's rather unfortunate because I have also followed and even spoken on the issue at different fora, and I have heard in the past in different fora where the governor will refer to his deputy as his younger brother, and the deputy will refer to the governor as his older brother. And it brings to mind one fact, that in politics, there are bound to be conflicts. It's how we manage conflicts that matters. Because hearing the governor say that his deputy is planning a coup d'etat, and the initial court action filed by the deputy saying that the governor wants to impeach him shows that there is a crisis, and the buck actually stops on the table of the governor to put his own house in order, because Edo people elected both of them on the joint tickets, and in this joint ticket, you have a senior partner, which in this case is the governor. So I expect him to show leadership. It is not a time for us to be hearing all manners of tito-tattle. The deputy wanted some of the honorable members, or rather, the deputy wanted to decide who will speak up the House of Assembly so that with that he will plan a coup against me. It is not a sign of leadership because the buck stops at the table of the governor. Most of the things the deputy has complained about are in court. As a lawyer, I don't think it would be good for me to dabble into that. But in the process, one will want to offer the opinion by way of an advice for the governor to put his house in order. Because Edo should not be in the news for always bad reasons. We should try and
just a minute.
Discard this idea of
please just give me a minute.
Because the people voted him to develop the state, and I think governance should not be punctuated by political crisis.
All right, and that's fine. But I want to ask you, because you seem to be saying, look, the buck stops at the table of the governor or at the desk of the governor. But a lot of people will say, when you look at Edo State, Shaibu has enjoyed a lot of popularity under this current administration, and that look, it is not. When you look at the structure in the country, it is not a normal thing for a deputy governor to enjoy that kind of popularity that perhaps that also signals support. So why do you think that, look, the buck only stops at the desk of the governor and that not the deputy governor to also try and make amends?
The deputy governor has his own faults. I'm not, but in every house, there's a father, right? If there's a crisis in the house, the father is the one that is called to action because he heads the unit. So I asked this simple question. You know, I think this thing has been out for a very long time, and I think it is proper for us to situate it. The deputy governor is a former NANS president. He's a two-time member of the House of Assembly, was in the Federal House of Reps. It was from there he picked the ticket to run with the governor. So I don't think it is right or fair for people to say it was the office that gave the deputy governor visibility. No, the deputy governor brought visibility to that office. And as such, it is because of his competence, the governor gave him certain responsibilities. So even if there are some issues internal to both of them, I don't think the governor should now take back these responsibilities. You agree with me that Bende Insurance was nowhere in the league table. It was the deputy governor that took them to the Federation finals where they won, right? And as such, it is because of his competence. And I think that is what the governor should look out for. He's a young man with talent. He's a young man with energy. If he now decides that he wants to run for governor, the governor should not, on the basis of that, start winch hunting him. Because the same governor cried in 2020 that the former governor of the state, Adams Shomole, you know, in the spirit of godfatherism, was trying to prevent his ambition. And I think this is a dramatic irony. It's history repeating itself. And elsewhere, I even did an analogy of the Shakespearean play, Julius Caesar.
Because I have 2 minutes left.
We have a Caesar, we have a Brutus.
All right, Mr. Vata, just a minute. I have 2 minutes left. I want to give Mr. Dododo just 1 minute to weigh in on this matter. Mr. Dododo, you've heard what Mr. Vata said. What's your thoughts on the way forward in addressing this particular issue in Edo State?
Not even in Edo, everywhere. Nigeria first, people first, because they are there for the people. So their personal differences should not be as a yardstick, or should not be as a determining point to the detriment of the people of Edo State. They should understand they are serving the people. Therefore, they should not allow their personal misunderstanding to go and sabotage or deter the life and the people of Edo State. Therefore, they should come down, their own party should wade in order to tell them to stop this, let them focus their attention to the developmental of the welfare of the people. So I think that is my advice to that effect. The deputy governor and the governor, they are serving the people. They have to remember that people are there watching, and people are suffering. They should come to the aid of the people and make sure that people are enjoying. Their personal differences should go there and the table for their political party, so that it will be resolved there. But they should not use that as a tool to go and start, disturbing people or put people in jeopardize. That is not acceptable, I think so.
All right. Thank you so much for talking to us, Mr. Sani Dododo, a public affairs analyst and former chairman of the State's Emergency Management Agency in Kebbi State. And also, thank you so much for talking to us, Andrew Ematai, constitutional lawyer and the immediate past commissioner for communication and orientation in Edo State. Good to have you, gentlemen.
For having me. I'm grateful to be here. Yeah.
All right. That's where we leave it on Standpoint. We'll have more for you. Remember, you can watch a repeat broadcast rather at 11 p.m. and at 5 a.m. on Sunday morning. I am Precious Amayo. Thanks for watching.